stand, so I lag back behind. To be my move right then and there, she'd never be mine. Wanted to approach this girl, all the shook deep inside. Her masculinity turns fear and despise. Ooh, what did you expect? You asked no rings. Ooh, what did you expect? French cavalry. Ooh, what did you hope for? King and his queen, but you're such a dreamer. Just every man's dreamer. What a girl should be, first impressions don't come easily. It's hard to be romantic in no real time. My ex-wedding shall be called it mine. When she comes to say I'm sorry, I'll say no, I'm fine. Ooh, what did you expect? A public of mine. Ooh, I know you had them all at one time. I thought I'd like to take you home to be mine, but such a time, boy, save you now.
Hello, I'm Mike's brother Frank. On behalf of our family, we would like to thank you all for the love and support you have shown for Mike, his wife Beth, and their son Jerry. It has been very comforting to know that Mike was loved by so many, especially his music community. Mike's life started as Hurricane Donna roared up the eastern coast. He was born into this world as the eye of the hurricane passed by. The calmness of the hurricane eye is exactly how Mike lived his life. Those of us who knew him well could certainly agree that his calm demeanor always seemed to be surrounded by some sort of spinning chaos. Mike's love of music started at an early age. We shared the same room growing up. Every night at bedtime, we would have the radio on, listening to WIBG and WFIL. Mike would keep time with every song, gently tapping his feet and hands against a wall or a bedpost until he fell asleep. Me, being the supportive older brother, would tell him to stop tapping and fall asleep, or the radio was going out the window. I had a conversation with my sister Maureen regarding Mike's first attempt at playing an instrument. We both have very vivid memories of his early music. His first instrument was the trombone. This choice of instrument probably forged his love for the bass guitar. Mike would practice the trombone for endless hours. When he first started, every missed note was followed by the word or, which was followed by the correct note. In the beginning of the learning process, needless to say, there were more ors than correct notes. As the days turned into weeks and months, songs were beginning to materialize. I remember his first perfectly played song was the Marine Corps' The Halls of Montezuma. From the trombone, Mike moved on to the tuba. We liked his choice of the tuba, not for its sound, but for its extra large case. We were able to smuggle our beer and wine to our underage drinking parties. Who would ever suspect the musician? One of Mike's early accomplishments was his acceptance into Westchester University's summer music program. It was there that his music ability and his talent would flourish. Mike's many talents and abilities were amazing. In middle school, he was a very good football player. He even had a photo shoot with Wanamakers for a suit model in her catalog. He could practically repair anything. His standard fee was a pack and a pack, a 6-pack of beer, and a pack of cigarettes. For larger jobs, he would create a case and a carton as his repayment. His only request other than that was that you had to hang out, for it always would be a good conversation. He had so many odd jobs: an exterminator, a chemical plant processing operator, and a water treatment technician. He was a highly accomplished flooring installer and a photomat customer service operator. His calm demeanor gave him the ability to excel at most everything. Ironically, at Photomat is where he met the love of his life, Beth. Beth is Michael's soulmate. Together they have an extraordinary son, my nephew Jerry. Beth became the foundation that Mike desperately needed. Her tireless support helped him through the most difficult times in his life. My nephew Jerry, who was turning into a terrific young man, helped my brother stay focused and determined, especially during his battle with cancer. Beth and Jerry made it easy for Mike to love life. I never thought of my brother being a warrior. It became very apparent after his cancer diagnosis that he was not going down without a fight. His external calm demeanor and his is-what-it-is attitude helped him battle and stay with us long after his reported expiration date. As we were nearing the end, my brother and I would have small conversations. Those conversations would be about everything and anything. Within those conversations, Mike never once felt sorry for himself. He never put the blame on anyone or anything. He had very few regrets. In the end, I believe he left us in the same calm demeanor he demonstrated throughout his life, always in the eye of the hurricane. He would never want us to mourn his loss or feel sorry for him. He would rather have us think of all the good memories we have of him. Again, thank you all for caring and loving my brother Michael. Michael, I have always loved you unconditionally, always did and always will. Thank you.
Just what to do, I will comfort you. I'll wake you up if you're sleeping late. If you need my love and you just can't wait, I'll be there at 7 if you tell me 8. I can see us through. It's within your reach if you hold out your hand. It can all be yours, it's at your command. If you stay with me, we will never land, and I won't let you land. What you're looking for, you may have have what you need, but you're not quite sure. House in a car, yet you're insecure. Maybe forevermore. I've got what you need, so just look for me. It's not quite an answer, it's plain to see. If we make it together, it's bound to be love for eternity. Peace and tranquility. It's within your reach, just extend your hand. It can all be yours, it's at your command. If you stay with me, we will never land. I promise you'll never land. From worst to best and from bad to good, from misunderstanding to understood. You might don't know to what surely would. Love comes from the heart, from the very start. Hope we'll never part.
Mike Bug, Mike Sullivan, my good old buddy, bandmate, lifetime friend. I was a little kid and Mike was like one of the older kids in the neighborhood. He was always cool. He was always like really nice to everyone. And I just remember my first memories of him, you know, hanging out like, you know, in Upper Darby, Manor Avenue. He was a part of the Manor gang, and down at the old, we had this quarry, which is now the big shopping center in on Township Line, but it used to be a huge quarry, and there was huge stone piles that were there, and we used to play on those. And I remember there was a creek there and there was a rope swing, and I just remember Mike was always there hanging in that rope swing, flying over that creek, you know. Anyway, that was even before I knew him as a musician, but he was always cool. He was always like nice to everybody, even at a young age. He was always just the nicest guy. And when he got into high school, I was in a band called Uncle Jam, and we did all originals. And when we got Mike to be in our band, it was like, you know, I don't know, it brought us all up because he was, you know, he was always known as a amazing musician, even way back then. And to have Mike as our bass player was awesome. And I got to, later in life, got to have him back in another band with me, First Impression, and you know, we did progressive rock, and he was the guy for that. Believe me, he could play anything. You know, classic rock, progressive rock. He was always Chris Squire, no matter what he was playing. In a way, his hero. But we all love you, and we miss you, and Beth and Jerry. Anything you ever need, you have a big, large network of friends, and I'll always love you, Mike, and I'm sure you're out there making music somewhere in the universe, and I miss you a lot.
How many great things can I say about my friend Mike? Always took everything with a grain of salt, great sense of humor, have you laughing, rolling on the floor about the littlest things sometimes. I remember back when I first met him when I was 15 years old, and I got introduced to him, and I was just blown away by how great of a musician he was, because that time I really just started. I've been playing maybe a year, and he was like the hero of the neighborhood when it came to music. He was the guy, and always looked up to him. We used to go over there and hang out once I met him and all, and I'd go over there and hang out. And a little bit later on, we started Uncle Jam, me and John Denise, and we were excited. We had a great sellout of our first concert and everything. And anyhow, Victor Conte was in the band then, great guy. But after the show, things didn't go real well. Something went wrong. I don't remember exactly what, but we had a chance to get Mike in the band, and boy, were we excited. We went over there. Come on, we finally got him to join the band, and what confidence he gave all of us. Just being there playing with us made us feel like, wow, we are something now.
Hi everybody, my name's Paul Bug. I wanted to thank you all for coming out to Mike Sullivan's memorial. I met Mike around 1979. Was introduced to him by a friend of ours who we played in a band with, Steve Hodges. The band was Uncle Jam. We did a lot of originals, and we were looking for another bass player, and he introduced me to Michael, and I was like, Steve, that's the guy we got to get. And he joined the band. We made music together, became great friends. Anybody that knew Mike, he was so easy to get along with, and he had a great heart and was such a talent. His bass playing skills are tops. He was one of the best bass players in this area. And and then I ran into him some years later, and when our bass player from the Bug Hunters moved, and John Denise had let me know that Mike was available to play bass. And so we hooked up again, and he fit with the Bug Hunters like a glove. And Mike was a great guy, easy to get along with. Me and him would butt heads like brothers would, and but we truly loved each other. We were good friends, and it was an honor to have him by our side playing music, because he was simply one of the best. And he's going to be missed. He was just an awesome guy, and he wanted us to all rock out for him, and that's why we're doing this thing today, for him to remember him. Such an awesome guy, and all the musicians stepped up to get this together, and I want to thank everybody that participated, all the people that made food and put it all together. So many names to mention, but you're all, very kind people for stepping up, because I know you love Mike like I did, and he's going to be truly missed. He was a funny guy, and he had a great heart, and so keep Beth, Jerry, his brother and sister in your prayers, and hope to see you all out soon. See ya.
And he gave us a great confidence, because he had a great confidence, and he was an amazing musician and a good writer too. He had good songs going on, and we had barely written songs at that time. So really, he's really responsible for a lot of what went on, because he made us believe in ourselves, and we wanted to work on our original music, and that we did. We played all original, and later on, with Ed and Sleeper and all that, we had a great time. We played everywhere, just pushed it as far as we could. We always had a good time. Like, remember some funny things, like the time we got done a gig and unloaded all the equipment, and Mike's bass got left in the driveway and got run over in the case, but fortunately it survived. I can also remember how he would drop anything and do anything to help anybody. Like the time me and him on our failed attempt to go help Ace in Chicago, he just dropped everything. We drove out there, and we didn't have nearly what we thought. Everything went wrong. And in any case, a funny moment in that was my car blew up, and we were stuck in the middle of Indiana, and we walked into this town, into this restaurant, and if you could have seen the look on our faces, probably would have laughed forever. And we walked in, and it was all Amish, and we were the only people that weren't. We looked at each other like, uh-oh. We were stuck in that town for 3 days. It was like the worst trip ever. We had great times all the way through. We've done recording, all kinds of great things. All I can say is, Mike, you're a great inspiration to all of us, and you know, all my friends, you're a great inspiration to me, all of you. I remember when Paul used to travel through the snow just to get to practice, walk and take a trolley, and we used to practice 6 nights a week. And we were pushing, and he'd show up no matter what. He was there, and he taught us that we could just play our own music. He made up words right on the spot, and all of us were really excited about each other, is my point. Everybody, you know, that was involved really supported everybody else, and what an amazing friendships we had, you know. And Mike did bond us together a lot in those friendships. Man, you know, I always loved the guy. All of you guys. We had something really special. And may God rest his soul. And you know, and it's just, this is so hard. I don't even know how to say things. Anyhow, I treasure all the time that we all spend together. And I thank Mike and Beth and all my friends when I was down and out, how they were all there for me and it saved my life, really. You know, love all you guys. And, you know, keep up the jamming, keep up the playing. That's what, you know, that's what we're all just bonded together with. Another funny time is when we all were practicing. Mike, for some reason, decided he didn't want to show up that time. And the whole band went over there and we all knocked on his window and said, "Hey, Mike." We made up this whole thing and we all did it in unison. It was funny.
Yes, Steve. I remember that time when he didn't come to band practice and we went and we knocked on his door and we were like, "Mike." We all said it together, Uncle Jam. We all said it in unison because, you know, he missed a couple practices. You know, we used to practice like every night. So, but we knocked on his door. We're like, as soon as he opened, "Mike, hi, Mike. So where were you at practice? Huh? What? Okay."
Can't forget to mention the time we played some gig and we were out till 3 o'clock in the morning, but we had to be at work in New York. I want to talk about somebody that was dedicated. We all got up there and Mike's like, "We got to make it. We got to go." We got to get there in the middle of New York City and lift wood up 2 floors and do some racquetball court or something. It wasn't funny then, but it's pretty funny now if you would have seen how we looked.
I wonder what this day will bring. I hope it treats me fair. A new song maybe I will sing. I hope someone will care. Am I predestined? Will I be predestined? I hope to find the things in life to keep me free of pain. I also hope to find out soon a way to keep me sane. Am I predestined? Will I be predestined?
first met Mike at a jam session in 1983, and man, was he intense. He had such a command of his instrument, I thought, I'd better be at the top of my game to play with this dude. But play we did for a lot of years in a lot of different bands, with the best and most creative one being Sleeper. And we also did a ton of recordings, and I'm proud to have my musical legacy attached to his. Mike was a great bass player, a great songwriter, and most of all, he was a great person. Rest in peace, my brother. I'll see you on the other side.
Now, if you haven't heard or you do not know, Sleeper is here tonight for the Rude Awakening. And they're gonna hit you. And they're straight here from Upper Darby. And they're gonna rock and roll you, and this is the best local shit around. Sorry about the cussing. So here we go, Sleeper, live.
Take my hand, understand, wars can be ended.
like to remind anybody who's interested in joining the latest American fashion, there's a sleeper t-shirt hanging up over there and over there. Anybody interested in buying one, they go for the minimum price of, drum roll please, $6.
P.S. Don't forget to tip the bartenders. They've done a hell of a job for us tonight.
My name is Russell Getz. I was a drummer with Mike Sullivan and the Beatstalkers. I was also a door installer. And this is a crazy story, but this is how it goes. I had to place 5 doors in a house in Overbrook Farms. The house belonged to David Ruffin. He sat with me and talked with me during the day as I installed his doors, and I told him I was a musician, and I told him I was playing in a few weeks at the Chestnut Cabaret. I asked him if he would be interested in coming out and supporting my band. After talking with him, he said I would check you out, and if things are on the up, I'll give you a call. Anyway, he called my house one night. My wife answered the phone. She was amazed that it was the lead singer of the Temptations. And he said he could come out to the show. So the following couple of weeks went by. He called me up. He said, "You guys going to pick me up?" We had a limousine for him. We brought him to the show. He came out. He heard the band. He was amazed by our band. So amazed that the goosebumps got to him, and we got to him, and he got on stage with us. We did songs like My Girl, Ain't Too Proud to Beg, a few other songs. I wanted to do Wish It Would Rain, but David didn't want to do that song. So I obliged him. But we had a great night. The fans came out. They loved every minute of it. They got to go backstage and talk to David. He loved all my friends. He loved our band. And I believe it had to do a lot with Michael. Every band Michael plays for, he's the man. I'm the motor and he's the rhythm. I'm going to miss him. I love him. God bless you. Rest in peace, brother. Rest in peace.
Hey Russ, I remember that day vividly. One of the things that you probably don't remember is that after the gig, while we were all sitting in back, Michael asked David Ruffin to autograph his Rick. So this is the special feature of the Rick. It says to Duchamps, my main man, David Ruffin. It's been way faded over the years, but he signed it for him, and then he passed away about 2 years later.
To have Mike Bug in our band was an honor, and it was key, actually. If Mike Bug did not join First Impression, we would have never become a progressive rock band. He brought so much to the table. His skills on the bass and just musically were impeccable. And he was more part of our lives as a teacher as well as a player. And I'm going to miss him so much. Mike, thanks so much for being part of our lives and also being part of our band. Love you, and I miss you, brother.
I just want to say about Mike Bug, how great he was to play with in a band, and how he was such an inspiration to stay, focused and humble and kind the way he was. And one thing he always would tell us to do is to remember to breathe, because that's really important and easy to forget for some reason. I hope you're up there jamming with all the greats, and I hope you met your band brother at the pearly gates and are waiting for us to join you.
Hi, Beth. So sorry I'm not able to be at Mike's memorial in person, but I wanted to send over a short tribute video. Although I only knew Mike for a few years, I'm so blessed that I was able to share a stage with him and commune over the music that we all love. The video that follows is fitting in that it shows Mike in all his glory with First Impression, and it features as a soundtrack the Yes song Onward, which was written by bassist Chris Squire, who was a huge influence on us all. Mike was truly the musical equivalent of a scholar and a gentleman, and I'll miss him terribly.
Displayed in all the things I see, there's a love you show to me, portrayed in all the things you say. You're the day leading the way onward through the night, onward through the night, onward through the night of my
Hey Beth, hey Jerry, how you doing? I'm just here to do a little story about Michael, how I met him. Well, one day, me and my friend, we went over to Michael's house on Bond Avenue, and we all walked in and probably there to get some, weed or something. But then we walked in. There's this guy sitting, I guess, on his bed or a couch, and he had a bass player. He had a bass in his hand, and he was sitting there playing the bass. And that's the first time I met him. He had a bass in his hand. He had a fish tank behind him. It was funny. We all sat around, and we did what we did back in our day. And we always talked, and we hung around a couple of times. And then one day, I guess we were around 19. We actually lived together for a couple of months with our girlfriends, and we're just a little. And we always talked about maybe being in a band together, and we have to jam together and stuff, because he was really a very well known good musician at the time. And so we finally got the chance to do it years later. Actually got to meet him again and see him for the first time in many years when I was with Tina Hamilton, when we went into the Jimmy Mac's to see the Bug Hunters. And Mike was playing, and we recognized me, he recognized me, and talked and had fun, and Then I followed the Bug Hunters for a while, and then eventually we started our own band, and he substituted for a guy that couldn't do it, the gig. And so Mike said he would fill in, and he loved it, and he thought it was great. And it turned out that he wound up being the teacher and pretty much what kept the band going the whole time. And so it was nice seeing him. He was a great teacher, and glad we got the chance to do what we did together. And he really helped Billy Berry out musically wise. he's always getting on Rob about his timing, but that was what he's supposed to do. And he would get on me about going to the wrong progressions or something like that. But that's what he is. He's a teacher. So in his passing, it's sad that he's gone, but knowing Mike, he's having a pretty good time with all his friends up there and his mom and dad and all the relatives that people want to see. And we have people passing every day, and just got to be with us. And to Beth and Jerry, have a good, may, the Lord take care of everybody and bless you, and hope everything works out well, and may He bless you with comfort and joy in your life. Even though somebody's missing, He's also had a long history of good things that will always come back. Even He will always be around. So enjoy this day of remembering Mike. I hope everybody enjoys all the bands and Tom and Jerry's facility. Mike always loved playing there. I'm glad we got a chance to play there as much as we did. So everybody, thank you. Have a good one.
Hey, Rob Snyder, drummer for the Fighting Skunks. I'd like to say a few words about Mike Sullivan. I first met him through John Denise and his introduction of the Bug Hunters to all of us. Mike was a cool dude, great bass player. We joined the band. Kenny was sitting in Key West, the old down in Ridley. He says, "Oh, you want to be in my band? I got a gig next Saturday." Okay. And then we needed a bass player. We got somebody, but it fell through. And we asked Mike, and he gladly joined us. He loved his time with us. We loved him. He was a great mentor. And it's ironic, he actually replaced my older brother Scott in a band called Brimstone Alley back in the 70s. Ironic. But Mike was a great dude. You miss him. This is for you, Mike. Love you.
Michael and the Skunks. Now that's actually kind of silly how it happened. Kenny called me up one day. Apparently he had a gig booked and didn't have a band. So he was getting this band together. And the guy he got to play bass broke his ankle and decided he couldn't play bass because his ankle was broken. I don't know what playing bass has to do with an ankle. I didn't think you used your ankle to play bass. But he called me up and asked me if I could ask Michael if he would fill in with the Skunks. So I asked Michael, and he's sure. I'll give Kenny a call. So that's how Michael ended up, they loved him. Michael ended up being the permanent bass player for the Skunks. I know Michael as a musician. Michael actually stopped playing for a long time after we got married, and when Jerry was born. I didn't want him to stop playing, but he got really bad stage fright, and he got sober, and he said to me the only way he could get on stage is if he was drunk. So he stopped playing. One night, John Denise gave us a phone call, and he said that the Bugs were playing down at the doghouse, and that Ace was coming into town, and we had to come out. So Michael was back and forth. Do I go? Do I not go? What do I do? We ended up going. I said to him, well, earlier I had packed his bass up, and I threw it in the trunk of the car without telling him. And I said to him when we were getting ready to go, you want to bring your bass with? He's like, nah, I'm not getting on stage. I'm not doing that. I can't. So I said, okay, let's go. We got in the car, we get there, and John and Ace both say to him, where's your bass? He's like, oh, I didn't bring it. I'm not getting on stage. And I said to him, honey, look in the trunk of the car. What did you do? I said, look in the trunk of the car. He's pulled out his bass. He's like, my bass is here. I'm like, yep. I had a feeling you might want that. So that was the first time he played with the Bugs, and they fell in love with him. And he ended up becoming a part of the Bug Hunters, and once he was on stage, sober, he lost his stage fright.
All young tequila on my home. And waiting for the band to come on the show. Feel good, feel right outside the light. The hook of the temple was outside. These fine ladies, they had a plan. They was out to be the 400 man. So,
Hi everybody,
Hey,
Bug
buddy.
Hunters here.
Hi.
Thank you all for coming to the Mike Bug Memorial. Mike was our brother, bandmate. We loved him so much. We miss him. He was one guy that could play a bass, and we wind up getting Rich to fill his shoes, and Rich said that were hard shoes to fill. But Mike was a great guy, great personality, a heart of gold, and he loved music, and he loved the Bug Hunters. When we first got him, we were so happy we had somebody of his caliber, and he's just a great musician when he was with us and brought so much more to the band, and you know, we really miss him.
Yeah.
You know, and Joe's getting choked up here.
I know I'm not. I'm trying to get everybody in the picture.
And but we know that you love Mike as much as we did, and we just, you know, we're so happy all the musicians got together to come out, and all the people that did everything to make this happen. Thank you so much. We love you.
Thank you.
We miss Mike Bug so much. He was one of a kind, and one of the best bass players around.
Absolutely.
And you know, we want to thank you all for always supporting us, and thank you so much for always supporting the benefits we have for Michael. And please remember to keep Beth, Jerry, Frank, and the sister Maureen in your prayers. You know, it's a big loss, and thank you so much.
met for the second time at Photomat. I'll tell you in a little bit where we met the first time. He was engaged to Chrissy at the time, and we became very good friends. We stayed friends for a long, long time. I ended up throwing him a 30th birthday party. Friends of ours were supposed to come down. There were supposed to be 2 girls there, one that was supposed to meet him and be his date for the night, and the girl's car broke down. So about halfway through the evening, I said to him, "Oh, my poor brother, I'll be your date." And that was it. We got together and had been together ever since. Now, we were going out for dinner one night, and we're hanging out over at the Vermont, and ran into a friend of his, Dave Kornbach. Dave Kornbach and I started talking. He's like, "Oh, you're from Juniper Road. Where do you live on Juniper Road? Do you know Dory Cohen?" I said, "Yeah, Dory's my best friend." And he said to Michael, "You know, way back when, I was dating Dory, and we went to a party on Juniper Road, and you came with me." Well, I couldn't believe it. Michael was the cute guy that was playing guitar at the party that I met when I was 13 and he was 17. Now, Jerry's an interesting story. Michael and I got married in September of 1997. We went down to Disney on our honeymoon. We were both told by doctors we'd never have children. So we hadn't used any protection, we weren't worried about it. We weren't going to have kids. We went down to Disney for our honeymoon. We fooled around and went on the Tower of Terror. Came home. Next thing you know, it's 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm up guzzling milk. I don't drink milk. I don't like it. But I guzzled 2 full 16-ounce glasses of milk. Michael came in while I was in the middle of drinking it and said to me, "What the hell are you doing? You don't like milk." I said, "I need milk. I have to have it." So he said to me, "Honey, you need to stop at like CVS or Rite Aid tomorrow." And I looked at him and went, "Uh-oh. Guess what? I was pregnant." So that's how Jerry came to be.
Run away seemed like the only thing to do, and that would only hide the pain that no one ever knew. Trapped inside myself, feeling so much insecurity. You could never understand how sad it was in here, wanting just to scream so loud, yet thinking no one could ever hear my pain. Bombs away, I'm so scared and lonely, I can't take this anymore. All the keys of life I own will not open any doors. I have nowhere left to turn, my life is so confusing. It's no longer that amusing if I don't find some relief from this suffering and grief. Then you came along. You started pointing out to me the places I went wrong. You helped me find the good in me, and you helped to make me strong. You never turned your back on me, you were always there right by my side. My feelings I no longer hide, you gave me back my sense of pride. Your faith in me won't be denied. I owe it all to you. You brought me happiness and love I never knew. And when you stand beside me, there is nothing I can't civil that I see. The only thing I see is pain. Yet Halliburton stands to gain. But you say someday their country will be free. Meanwhile, back here at home, we have our own little danger zone. We call despair and poverty. You claim to care, but do you give a shit? For 4 whole years you turned your back on it, but when it's voting time, you spew a brand new bunch of lies. I've grown so tired of this. Your reign has got to end. The mess you've made is really plain to see. The vicious cycle has to stop. It's time we vote to punch the clock. The world just might return to normalcy.
Mike Bug. He was the man. He'll always be the man. Great player, great human being. I must say I was proud to have filled in for him a few times and to have gotten to know him. I wish I knew him longer, but love you, man, forever. You were great. One of the few.
Hey Mike, I just wanted to say thank you so much for everything that you've done for musicians and just the music community in Delaware County and everywhere else that you've played. And we really miss you a lot, man.
Hi, I'm Chrissy Pester Phillips, and I dated Michael a long time ago. I wanted to share some of the memories with you guys that I have of him. I met Michael in 1981 at Heidi's Tavern in Drexel Hill. It was around Christmas time, and he was performing on this little teeny stage in the bar. Our first date was on New Year's Eve, and he came over to my house, and we wanted to have a fire in the fireplace and get all romantic, and we couldn't get the wood to light. So Michael had this brilliant idea of pouring lighter fluid, charcoal lighter fluid, all over the wood. And it did catch. It definitely lit on fire, and we had fire in the fireplace like the burning flames of hell. We were together for 8 years, which is a lot of time to make memories, but it was over 30 years ago, so that's a lot of time that to forget the memories. But the memories that I do have and I cherish are when Michael, Ed, Steve, Jeff, and Russell formed the band Sleeper. Those were some really good times. John Denise was the manager, and he found lots of really great gigs for them. I'll always remember the marathon Risk games that we had at our apartment in Westchester when Steve, Ed, Jeff, and John would come over, and we would play Risk for literally days. We'd play until 3 o'clock, 3, 4 in the morning. We'd sleep for a few hours, and then we'd pick it right back up again when we woke up. How did we do that, I wonder? When I think of Michael, what stands out is his passion. He had a passion for life, but his true passion was music. He loved writing music. He loved playing music. He loved performing for audiences. He was never without an instrument in his hands, and he could play bass in his sleep. I mean, literally, he would sometimes play bass while he was sleeping. He was so musically gifted. I believe that he had perfect pitch. He could pick up the phone and tell you what note the dial tone was in. And this was back when there was only one dial tone, one note dial tones. And then when the phone company switched over to a tritone dial tone, he could tell you what notes those were in as well. There was never a doubt that Michael would play music all his life. Music was his life. It was his heart. And I am sure that wherever he is now, he's still playing music. Rock on, Michael. I love you. You'll be missed.
As I was reading a good book the other day, a brand new feeling came my way. The author had great things to say. It seemed the book was written especially for me, because before I could not see the answers to life's questions could be found inside of me. It made me realize the way I lived my life before, feeling trapped and insecure. I never opened up new doors with no direction in life, living day to day. I never got lost in a new way. Thought I had to live my life without anything to say. And now my mind is open, safe, not shy at all. Realize I cannot fall. The things I've learned I'll fight to all. Within you are your actions, there are your mistakes. It's up to you to make your breaks. You have the feeling deep inside you, grab it and don't hesitate.
Just want to send up a little message to Mike's memorial coming up. And I just want to say Mike was just such an amazing human being, incredible musician, and it's hard to find that combination in somebody. And he has so many friends, his family,
So I want to send out a little something from my heart. It's called Live Forever, and it's about his memory living on and on. He did a lot for Yacht Stock every year, along with the rest of the Bug Hunters and many other musicians. So just want to thank you for that, and God bless you and the family. And here's a little piece for you. I'm gonna live forever. I'm gonna cross that river. I'm gonna catch tomorrow now. You're gonna wanna hold me just like I always told you. You're gonna miss me when I'm gone. Nobody here will ever find me, but I will always be around. Just like your songs you leave behind me. I'm gonna live forever. I'm gonna live forever. You're gonna live forever now. I hope your memory lives forever, Mike.
Hi, everyone. All right, Mike, for you, if it was not for knowing you and the rest of the Bugs, I would never pay my love for Yacht Stock. And your love of Yacht Stock showed every year. Say how much you love these kids, and you kept it up for all those years. And I love you for that, and I love you for so much more, because we had so many years. And, oh, God, okay. And on the later side, so I don't cry, all them years you and Ken and Brian made me think that you two were related, when you weren't related at all. But I love you guys for it, because you just let me go at it. And I love you all. Much love to the Sullivan family, and much respect to you all.
How do you sum up somebody like Mike Bug? You really can't. When I was a little kid, I used to think he was a rock star. And then when I grew up, I learned he is a rock star. He just never got famous. He inspired me as a musician, totally. He held the bass down better than anybody else in the Delco scene, in my opinion. And he also taught me how to properly wrap cables, and every time I do it, I'll always think of him. He was the man. Hell, bassists always are. Miss you, Mike.
My name is Tim Wainwright, and Mike was my first cousin, as my mom was a Sullivan. You can see the resemblance in this pic I am showing you. In our younger days, we lived on the same street growing up on Bond Avenue, and we had to cross over the bridge to get to each other's homes. Mike and I are 8 years apart, so we didn't hang out. As kids, we did holidays, and as we got older, we even worked together for a bit. Mike was always a kind-hearted kid and adult. Mike, I'll see you again in the next life when I cross over that bridge. Rest easy, cuz.
I'm Amy Cusimano.
And I'm Rachel Cusimano.
I was Beth's college roommate, and I met Mike working at Photomat, I'd say back in 1985. And it's a good thing we worked at Photomat, because meeting Mike led to following a local rock band called Sleeper around, well, like everywhere. And I took lots and lots of pictures. You know, when I think about Mike and Beth, I kind of feel a little bit blessed, because there's very few people in your life that you can honestly say you've known for more than 3 decades, other than family members. And when I think about Mike, he had a lot of people in his life that he knew for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Something not many people can say. I know, Beth, you told me just tell a story, but I think I'm going to let Rachel do that part.
Oh. Hi, yeah, this is my mom, and I guess they've been friends for so long. Beth and Mike were like that aunt and uncle I had growing up. I got my first flute with Mike when I was 8 years old, and I think he was the biggest supporter of my classical music career growing up. I remember he had the studio, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I would go in, and there was all these exotic instruments like didgeridoo and I forget the names of some of them. I loved exploring in them. All right,
And you know what, Rachel? When you started getting those acceptance letters to different conservatories and colleges, I think I saw a little spark of pride in his eyes too, because he was kind of a part of it.
Well, I remember it's kind of interesting because I got my first ever flute with him, and I remember we were going into this little music store by where they lived, and everyone said the flute was such a hard instrument, and I remember I was able to get a sound in, like the head joint, right away, and I remember he was so excited about that. But then continuing on, he had, his recording studio. So I remember I'd go in and I'd record, my college auditions or just tapes for band. And one day my mom was actually in there playing, and I was in the hallway, and Mike was saying, like, oh man, that little girl could rip on the flute. And I was like, oh, that's actually my mom.
Yeah, he got me to remember that I was a musician too.
Yeah, he just, he made it really fun. I know sometimes when I was going through the classical music world, it was, a lot of pressure, and he always just had a love for it that made it fun, and it was exciting to play music with him and hear him play music and see that spark in his eye.
So Mike, yeah, you were all about the music, and I think we're all better for it. Miss you.
Miss you, Mike. We're very blessed to have known you.
So in thinking about Mike, trying to figure out how to do my video, I'm really having a rough time with it. Let alone I got a family that doesn't seem to be able to figure any of it out. I did write down a few things, and I've been trying to read them, which has been just as hard, especially with this family. But when push comes to shove, it all comes about Mike being who Mike was. I miss him dearly, so thankful for the time I had to spend with him. Whether it was at the hospital, whether it was at the house, whether it was, watching them play, wandering around the in and out doors and jamming away. There's just only one Mike, one man, one Mike, one bass player. It's just, it's been a long haul, and he went through a lot, and he never ever forgot to say, hey teen, how you doing, how's sweetie? He just was a rare breed. Miss him dearly. And I love him. And that's about all I got to say.
I'm going to read this because I'm not real good at public speaking. I've known Michael for most of my life. I remember the first day I saw him down the park. He was playing guitar and Beth thought he was cute. I did too. He was. In recent years, he's helped me countless times when my hot tub or my bed would break. My bed was wooder. And I would call him panicked, and no matter what time of day or night it was, he always came over and he helped me. My favorite memory of Michael is Beth, Mike, and Jerry used to come over every year and celebrate Passover with us. Last year, we ate pizza for Passover. Jews don't eat bread for Passover. It's the one time a year they don't eat bread. We did anyway because Michael needed to eat. And Pika's Pizza was something he never turned down. I'm going to miss Mike a lot, and I'm honored to have had him as my friend.
Well, my name is Brian Dunn. This is my wife,
I'm Lori Dunn.
Lori Dunn. And we've known Mike a long time. I remember the first time I met Mike was in his mom's basement in Drexel Hill. He was sitting in this bed like the king, and people all around him. And he had his Rickenbacker bass right there by his side at that time too. And he had a big sign above his head. It said Mike's Cellar Pub. And yeah, he was a character. Nicest guy I knew, And yeah, he basically touched a lot of hearts everywhere, and was just an all-around great guy. A very talented musician, a good friend. I can't say enough. I probably don't have that much time to say it, And I even remember carrying him around at his bachelor party, and keeping him safe. And that was a whole night in its own. And then watching him get married to a wonderful woman, Beth. And I don't know. What do you recall, Lori, from?
Oh my gosh, the very first time I ever met Mike. Actually, we met Mike. He picked up a guitar. He started playing this amazing song that he wrote and sang. It was like really amazing, and I just have so many fond memories of Mike. And
He was just an all-around great
really
guy.
Decent, great guy.
Yeah. I lent him a bass one time, and he gave me this. He gave me his strap, and then he wrote on here. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but to Brian Dunn for services above and beyond the call of duty, and he signed it, and he put his name in here like he always did. He always had a touch of green on there. MLS, the second, I think it said on there. Yeah, that's right. Or the third, second. Yeah, well, I don't know. I just saw MLS. I didn't really ever get into the details of that part. But yeah, Mike, just a great guy. Known him forever. Gonna miss him.
Kind soul.
I miss him now. I miss him so much. And I'm sure everyone else does. And I don't want to take too much more of this time. And we loved him dearly. And rest in peace. And I'm sure he's playing bass up in heaven somewhere, because that's where a man belongs.
Definitely.
All right. Thanks for giving us the opportunity to say our feelings.
Gets mad, I have to wonder why we chop a forest, plow them under. Now can we just sit there while they're poisoning our sea? Gets mad, I have to cry. How can we let nature die while the company that causes walk away scot-free? Clogging up our friendly skies, and all the things we need to survive we're destroying from within. We still make things we don't need, we do stupid things because of greed. Yet while we plant our deadly seed, we destroy our next of kin. Listen, children, to my story. It's been taught for many years. The ones who've walked this land before, you've driven me to shed my tears. She'd hear what nature said. She got it down to a science this I've read. Yet Lord knows she's near close to dead. So where do we begin? If we check our egos at the door, competition is a devil's whore. We could learn to love her forevermore. If we don't, she'll just decay. Cause of man, I now have problems. I thought I'd be here to stay. Please, dear children, can you help me? I'm about to waste away. Stupid people keep on breathing, and all the good upon this earth will leave. Then no one will be left to heal. Can we let her die this way? That's why Hudson Man wrote this song. Why the hell does it take so long to realize we are in the wrong? How we trash our earth this way? Listen, children, to my story. It's been taught for many years. Years who walked this land before, you've driven me to shed my tears. Shame only deals with pain. You never seem to realize it would bite you back one day. It's a shame. Blame. You thought you had it all mapped out like some Milton Bradley game. If you knew then what you know now, would your life still be the same? It's a shame, such a shame. Shame, thinking that the world owes you. I swear you are so vain. Now it's time you realize that your life won't be the same. It's a shame. I find it strange how you work so long and hard, yet your life still stays the same. You struggle all these years, yet it doesn't seem to change. It's a shame, too much pain. Blame. Tried to live the right way, yet I feel wrong every day. If it were not for the ones I love, I would end it all today. Here we are, picking up the pieces as we find out who we are. Try to make